In the headlines, reps to investigate inferior Dangote fuel allegations, orders new test. Minister of State for Defense Bello Matawalle denies terrorist ties in viral video, says Turji is deranged. Court rejects push to bar Fubara from spending public funds in Rivers State. And on the foreign scene, Liberia's Senate contemplates capital city relocation following a ravaging floods in Monrovia. Hello, welcome to News Updates on Trust TV. I am Lilian Ogazi. And now to the news. The House of Representatives Joint Committee of Midstream and Downstream investigating alleged domestic production of substandard petroleum products, non-availability of crude oil to domestic refineries and other related matters has promised to carry out a thorough investigation by inviting all stakeholders to get to the root of the burning issue. Chairman of the Joint Committee, Ikenga Uguchinyere, stated this at the opening of the investigation on Monday. Now, according to him, the committee will also conduct a legislative forensic investigation into the presence of middlemen in crude trading, indiscriminate issuance of licenses, alleged unavailability of international standard laboratories to check adulterated products, influx of contaminated products into the country, the allegation of non-domestication of profits, realization from crude marketing sales in local banks, abuse of the PFI regime, importation of products already being produced in Nigeria, and use of international trading companies to resell fuel stock to local refineries at high markup prices. He recalled that the House had at the plenary on July 9, 2024, adopted a motion on urgent need to carry out a legislative forensic investigation into the challenges affecting the downstream and midstream petroleum sectors in Nigeria and other related matters to finding a lasting solution to all challenges. Now, away from that, Minister of Defense, State and former Governor of Zamfara State, Bello Matawalle, has described as baseless the allegations of terrorism leveled against him by a bandit kingpin, Bello Turji. In a video released on social media, Turji, a leader of a group of outlaws operating in northern Nigeria, blamed Matawalle of not handling insecurity effectively when he was governor of Zamfara State. Turji linked the escalation of banditry in Zamfara and other states in the northwestern part of the country to the policies rolled out by the administration of Matawalle when he was governor. Matawalle, in a statement through his media consultants, denied involvement in the terrorist activities, describing the claims as baseless and mere attempts to distract and discredit him. The statement said all arms seized, recovered and received from bandits were submitted at Government House Gusau, and there is a record for it. A police sergeant, Sunday Wadzani, has killed his father in Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State. The incident occurred behind the State Police Command headquarters in Moduganri on Sunday. The suspect is attached to the Borno State House of Assembly. According to a security source, Wadzani has been arrested and is currently in custody at GRA Police Station. Borno State Police Command are yet to comment on the incident. Meanwhile, police in Katsina has arrested suspected informants of bandits, social miscreants, fraudsters and criminals that specialized in stealing point-of-sales machines from their unsuspecting victims. The police had also arrested a 10-year-old suspected informant of bandits from Dandume local government area of Katsina State and busted a criminal gang of kidnappers for ransom in the ancient city of Katsina. Abdullah Yamadi tells us more.
The command narrated how this 10-year-old child was taken to bandits by his friend Abba, now at large, to serve as their informant with the promise of 3,000 to 5,000 naira proceeds from each successful operation.
In connection with a suspected case of aiding and abetting armed banditry, The suspect was arrested following the receipt of intelligence on his nefarious activity, where he specializes in providing information on villages, routes, and potential targets to suspected armed bandits.
Another syndicate of informants of bandits was also busted with a successful arrest of 3 persons at Babbarga village in the outskirts of Katsina metropolis, who specialized in supplying credible information to bandits to aid their operations.
The command has succeeded in arresting one Lawai Umaru, male aged 70-year-old of Babbarga village in Batagara local government area, and his son one Ibrahim Lawai, male aged 22 years old, and his friend one Abdul Ghani Isa, also 22 years old, all of Babbarga village in Batagara local government area of Katsina State.
In the same vein, the command also announced how its operatives successfully apprehended a syndicate of kidnappers for ransom following a tip-off at Sabur Ungwar Kofar Kaura in Katsina metropolis. A 23-year-old Sadiq Abdullahi is currently being detained in connection with the disappearance and abduction of one Isya Kalawal, and the suspects admitted to have committed the offense. I was introduced to a bandit's kingpin in the forest by a friend called Abba, who took me to the bandits' den. While there, I was threatened and asked to be supplying information about communities where there are livestock and movement of security operatives, especially within the area of operation. I was lured into this unholy act by a friend who invited his victim Isya Kalawal into my room, where he mixed some substances into his drinks, removed monies, phones, and a bag from him. The victim was in my room for about 2 weeks before they evacuated him to an unknown destination. Honestly, I had wanted to report the issue, but my friend threatened to kill me. While parading the suspects, the Katsina Police Command, through its spokesman ASP Sadiq Aliu, advised parents and guardians to ensure proper upbringing of their children. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Cattle owners in Dorfi, Kwara, Furmi, Mayo, Ngada, and other villages in Sadauna local council of Taraba State have suffered significant losses due to an outbreak of cow disease. The bug, identified as hemorrhagic sepsemia, was reported to have killed thousands of cows. The Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security, Professor Nicholas Oliva, confirmed the outbreak on Sunday in Jalingo. He said government has deployed veterinary officers to the affected communities to contain the disease. Oliva urged residents to support efforts of the veterinary officers in treating and vaccinating the remaining cows. He said the government has initiated measures to prevent the disease from spreading to neighboring communities. In several locations in Nigeria, losses are recorded as pigeons and crows are frequently observed in maize crops. In addition to harming grain, the development is seriously impeding agricultural output and operations. Farmers in Yamal Tudeba, local government area of Gombe State, are facing such farm damage and are concerned that this development could exacerbate food inflation. Hassan Kohli has more.
The bird, refers to as Kiria in the local dialect, forces a treat to maize during its early stages of development. Typically, the birds will target farms in the early morning or late evening, leaving the maize vulnerable to pest. Abdul Qadir, a farmer, bemoans the extent of devastation to his corn farmland in Kwadon community on Yamal Tudeba local government area. We used to call this particular bird Kiria. The bird forces a treat to farmland degradation. As you can see, they frequently assault my field and destroy corn that with good cultivation will yield at least 5 bags of grain. When farmers are not around in the early morning or late evening, they attack crops. Since the scarecrow method does not work, we have been using a catapult to scatter them during the day. We are searching for more money ways to safeguard our farmlands. And should this continue, it will undoubtedly exacerbate the inflation of food commodities, something we are not hoping for. Experts say that farmers face this issue every year, but it will be resolved as soon as the appropriate steps are taken at the appropriate moment.
A farmer is expected to employ certain measures, and among these measures are: number one, we have biological method; number two, we have traditional method; and number three, we have the chemical method. An example of biological method that the farmer can employ in order to prevent economic loss in his farm is the use of tall barrier crops. For instance, a farmer can decide to sacrifice a portion of his farm, especially the 4 axes we have in the farm, maybe by building tall crops like maize, for instance, sorghum, and millet. When these tall crops are planted, they are planted earlier. When they are planted, if these killer bats happen to enter the farm, the first point of contact will be these tall barrier crops. So the birds will ascend on these tall barrier crops. They will feed on the tall barrier crops, thereby preventing them from entering into the main farm, causing economic loss.
According to recent reports, quail birds have been seen in Mayoraneo in Arbokola local government area and Nahu Talalinga village in Karimlamid, a local government area of Taraba State. Small grass eaters, as these birds are called, are targeting rice plantations. From Gombe, Hassan Koli, reporting for Trust TV.
A federal high court in Abuja has declined to bar Governor Siminalayi Fubara from spending government funds pending the hearing and determining the suit filed by the Martin Amewule-led Rivers State House of Assembly. Ruling on the motion ex parte, Justice Emeka Wite declined to grant the prayers, though he ordered the plaintiffs to put the defendants on notice. Justice Wite, however, granted the motion ex parte to serve the 5th to 10th defendants in the matter by substituted means, saying the judge further adjourned the matter to 7th of August to hear the motion on notice. The court ruling comes after Fubara's last week vow to remain upright and never govern the state on bended knees, no matter how much he is pushed politically. He said there was a fierce battle to destroy the soul of the state, but expressed optimism that he will win the battle with the support of well-meaning persons who were standing firmly with him. Now to the education sector, where stakeholders have welcomed the age restriction placed on students before entering tertiary institutions in Nigeria. Habibata Jaye has more.
The federal government, through the Ministry of Education, sets 18 years as the new minimum age of admission into tertiary institutions in the country. Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mama, says the law establishing the 6334 system of education in Nigeria supports these age limits. The minister, however, accepted 16 years as the admission age for the 2024-2025 academic section. Reacting, Educationist says the move by the federal government is a welcome development as it will help to curb bullying and other vices prevalent in schools.
The enforcement, I think it's quite easy because all admissions now go through JAMB, the Joint Admission Matriculation Board, and every applicant is expected to submit NIN, and the NIN will definitely show the age of birth and what have you. And it's a document that if you tamper with in the future, the candidate is affected because a Nigerian can only have one NIN number throughout your lifespan. So I think it's something that can be enforced if JAMB is really ready to enforce it.
Parents, however, calling for integration of skills acquisition centers as part of the curriculum to prepare students for the ever-competitive job market.
what I would recommend is maybe they spend 1 year, 2 years in the madrasa memorizing the Quran, learning Arabic. And if some parents that may not be able to do that, you can also send them out to learn skills. They can learn coding, robotics within those 2 years for them to mature enough before going to the university. They can also learn even art skills. They can learn how to bake. They can learn other art skills that even when they get into the university, they can use it. Apart from studying, can also be another avenue for revenue generation for the undergraduates going into the school. So I think it's not a bad policy, it's a good policy, and I'm hoping parents will understand the idea behind it.
This move by the federal government is geared towards aligning the education sector with global best practices. Habibat Ajayi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
This is news updates coming to you from Trust TV. Coming up, we'll take a look at how application of technology is positively impacting financial inclusion in the country. This and more when we return. Do stay. You are welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is news updates coming to you from Trust TV. Let's take a look at our headline stories again. Reps to investigate inferior Dangote fuel allegations, orders new test. Minister of State for Defense, Bello Mutawale, denies terrorist ties in viral video, says Turji is deranged. Now moving on, federal civil servants have been given until July 31st, 2024 to verify their identities on the portal of the Integrated Payroll and Personal Information System, IPPIS, amidst the planned stoppage of salaries and sanctions for ghost workers. Reports said civil servants have been rushing to generate their taxpayers' identification number at the Federal Inland Revenue Services offices nationwide. Part of the requirement for verification is a TIN alongside the IPPIS number and salary account number. President Bola Tinubu had directed that all civil servants who are drawing salaries from the government after relocating abroad should be made to refund the money. The president also directed that all corporate supervisors and department heads be punished for aiding and abetting the fraud while they were in charge. Nigeria's e-payment platforms have recorded tremendous progress over the past few years, reflecting significant growth in the application of technology to payment transactions. According to economists and income management security experts in 2023, the value of electronic payments on the Nigerian interbank settlement platform reached approximately 60 trillion naira, and other e-payment platforms were nearing a total transaction value of 1 trillion naira. Here's a report.
The introduction of payment platforms like OPay, MoneyPoint, and PalmPay has brought a lot of diversity and innovative business opportunity to the market. These platforms have significantly improved financial inclusion in the urban and rural areas of the country, as people can easily open accounts and trade with one another. However, there are still challenges such as occasional complaints about the failure of e-payment transactions.
The best support we can get to support the e-payment system is to strengthen our IT infrastructure, our internet infrastructure, particularly the broadband, the fiber optic cables that they seek to lay around the country. And then that is the best support that the government can give. Then from a regulatory point of view, the central bank needs to ensure that these fintechs that are onboarding so many customers and so many citizens are also properly regulated.
We just need to actually look at what is the current problem, which is the issue of fraud around it, which is the issue of network, which is the issue of infrastructure. So, and we just need to actually tackle that from that, improve the internal security so actually prevent fraud, ensure that there are 2 levels of authorization. So before a transaction can actually be consummated. So it simply means that after you have tried to do a transaction, a token will be sent to the phone of the non-person. or maybe a token will be sent to your email for second confirmation to actually prevent fraud.
Residents of Lagos said electronic transactions significantly improved the flow of business transactions in the state.
E-payment is helpful and it reduces the queuing at the bank. But the only thing I see there is the charges. They are charging us more. When we receive money, they will charge us. When we send out, they will charge us. If they can reduce the charges.
I say that in-payment transaction is very good because it helps people to get access to their money at easiest rate, and for them to get move on with their business transactions. Unlike if you go to ATM machines sometimes delay people, sometimes the network will not be available. So it was flexible. So in-payment transaction is make people easier to access their money.
The e-payment system in Nigeria has significantly contributed to the growth and development due to increased level of financial activities among the people.
A MAX airline aircraft lost 6 tires while attempting to take off from the Yola airport in Adama on Sunday evening. The airline's Director of Public and Consumer Protection, Bimbo Oladeji, said the aircraft was carrying 119 passengers and 6 crew members. According to her, a Boeing 737 registration number 5NADB carrying 119 passengers and 6 crew members was cleared for takeoff from Yola Airport en route to Abuja. Bimbo said upon takeoff, a loud bang was heard, identified as the bursting of the rear tires. Initially, 2 tires burst while attempting to taxi off the runway. The remaining 2 tires also burst, rendering the aircraft completely disabled. All passengers on board were evacuated to safety. Now away from Nigeria, severe flooding in Liberia has led a group of senators to propose relocating the capital city away from overcrowded and poorly managed Monrovia. A suggestion met with a mixture of enthusiasm and hesitancy in the West African country. The National Disaster Management Agency said flash floods triggered by torrential rains between the end of June and early July left nearly 50,000 Liberians in urgent need. The flood-prone capital was badly hit, owing in part to overpopulation, a poor sewage system, and a lack of building regulation. Meeting to discuss the persistent flooding problem, a Senate Joint Committee in early July suggested establishing a new city to replace Monrovia. Monrovia is home to 1.5 million people and lies on the Atlantic coast of Liberia, one of the poorest countries in the world. The city is the economic, political, and cultural hub of the country, with the free port of Monrovia providing a gateway for Liberian exports, including iron ore, rubber, and timber, to reach the United States and Europe. But the city's poorly functioning infrastructure can barely keep up with its over and ever expanding population. And in sport, Super Falcons star striker Asisat Oshoala and former Nigerian international Perpetua Nwokocha have been included in Africa's 25 best athletes of the 21st century list. Aside Oshoala and Nwokocha, other Nigerians who made the list include mixed martial arts star Israel Adesanya, Kamaru Usman, and American football star Isi Umeyoria. Samuel Eto'o, Yaya Toure, Deda Drogba, Mohamed Salah, and Sadio Mane made the cut, while athletes greats such as Kenshisha Bekele of Ethiopia, Kasa Semia of South Africa, Eliud Kipchoge of Kenya, Trinesh Dibaba of Ethiopia, among others, were listed. Commenting on Oshoala, ESPN said Oshoala, who currently plays for Bay FC in the NWSL, has taken African women's football to a new height. The Nigerian striker has been the African Women's Player of the Year a record 6 times, thanks in large part to her stellar 5 seasons with Barcelona. With that, we've come to the end of News Update here on Trust TV. Do have to follow us across all our social media platforms for more news programs and documentaries. Thanks for watching. I am Lilian Ogazi. Bye for now.